Closing is always easy when you're in Cardone U. We role play with Grant Cardone's team. They know just what to do. They're always there to support us. We couldn't ask for more. On our way in the right direction, we found what we're looking for. In FLC, closing is better with appointment setters. You'd better believe we're not a team but a family. We work together in harmony. We are devoted, on that you can quote me, in FLC.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the FLC Hangout, where your freedom lifestyle begins. I'm so excited for the topic we have today. It is so exciting, and we were going through this training and Misty and I were messaging each other like, oh my god, we have to share this with people because it is so valuable, right? So it is the only difference between success and failure. Misty, how did you feel about this topic? Because I have loved it.
I love this topic. In fact, I can resonate with this. It's like, because we have those times where we can go back and forth where like, do I do this or do I not do this? How do I handle this? You know, and so I'm gonna let you say what topic it is. But yeah, this is like, okay, so anyway, we'll just go for it. I'll tell you what it is just because I can't hold it in anymore.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. We're going to be unreasonable. It's taking massive action. What's the difference between taking massive action and not taking massive action? Just doing things normally. What's the difference? Why is it important to take massive action? How does that happen? What would you say, Josie? How would you think that would happen?
Oh my God. So I feel like a lot of people think they're doing enough, right? They think they're working really hard, and maybe in your mind you are, but once you know these tips and know how like the millionaires do it and the billionaires do it, you're going to realize you might be working hard, but you're not really right? There's such a difference between working hard for not much and working hard but working smart, and I feel like that's really what we're covering here today, right? So
yeah,
the first kind of subject is obviously taking massive action. And like I just said, Grant Cardone says that most people underestimate the amount of effort it takes to get results. How do you feel about that? I really resonate.
I do too. I really resonate with that because a lot of times we think that just working 9 to 5, doing the minimum work, that's like really hard work and we're overachieving, we're doing too much. And in reality, you're just barely touching the tip of the iceberg. And even if you're working, even if you decide to only work an 8-hour shift, right, an 8-hour day, you can always, how do I say this? You can always plan things out and schedule things out so you're doing more and getting more out of your time. And that would be taking a massive action. That would be like being, we've talked about discipline, we talk about a whole bunch of things, but it's like taking all of that, like scheduling out every 15 minutes and blocking that out and doing like as much as you can in 15 minutes, and then taking a break for 5-10 minutes and then going another 15 minutes. Even that can be beneficial and can be work into taking that massive action. You don't have to work 14-hour days. You don't have to kill yourself, but maximizing your time to get the maximum benefit can be taking a massive action. Adding in the appropriate steps and being disciplined to stay on top of that and really achieve that can make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I studied sports science growing up mainly, and we talk about the level of perceived action in sport, and I think it really relays in here too. You can think that you're doing loads because what you're doing is not fulfilling, right? And anything you do that you don't actually really want to do is going to seem like so much more effort. So you can think that you're doing a lot, but really you might be here. You can think you're here and you're here. So it's really just take a look, take a step back. Like Misty said, the 15-minute thing is so good. Plan your day in 15-minute blocks and don't leave any white space. This is taking massive action. But not only do you have to take massive action, you have to continue it, right? It's not going to work in the first day, week, month. You might see results, but it won't continuously work. So yeah, he also said there are 4 degrees of action. He says there's right action, wrong action, no action, and massive amounts of action. Misty, which one do you think is the one that we should be going for?
Oh, come on. Just the bad action, right? Just the bad one. No, we should be taking massive action on anything and everything we're doing.
Yeah.
And I want to specify, when we talk about, in case you didn't hear or haven't watched one of the other episodes, when we talk about blocking out your day in 15 minutes increments, what we're talking about is 15 minutes sitting down, 15 minutes doing as much as you can, accomplishing as much as you can in your job, in your business, or whatever you're doing in those 15 minutes. That's your pure focus, is right there doing that. You're not being distracted by the phone or anybody else, picking fleas off the cat. You're not being distracted by anything else. Those 15 minutes are devoted and focused solely on getting the job done and getting as much done as possible in those 15 minutes. Then you get up and you take a 5, 10, 15-minute break, and then you go for another 15 minutes doing exactly the same thing, being focused. And what that does is, the more you do that, the more you realize you've gotten a lot more accomplished doing that, as opposed to sitting down and working and doing everything for like 8 hours straight, or even an hour straight. So if you're breaking it up, you're keeping your mind active, you're keeping your body active, you can focus more, and you get more engaged in what you're doing. So you're taking that massive action, which in the short term seems like this is silly, this isn't going to do anything. But in the long run, in the big picture, you're getting so much more done that moves you forward, right? Because we hear that saying, 6 months of super intense focus can put you 5 years ahead in life. You have what it takes, you just have to do it. So scheduling your everything, your days out, where, like you said, you have no white space, but you're blocking everything out in 15-minute increments. You're focusing on those things as much as, in those 15 minutes, you're just focusing on that. In the long run, in the bigger picture, you're setting yourself ahead, whether it be the 5 years ahead in life, or 5 months, or 5 minutes, or whatever. You're setting yourself up ahead of the game, because you're putting so much focus in those 15 minutes on that task at hand. And that, it compounds. Every 15 minutes it'll compound, it'll daily. It's just going to put you so far ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And he also says, even when you don't know what you're doing, take massive action. And this is the same with staying busy and always do something, always take massive action. Even if you don't know what you're going to, even if you don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, even if you do that.
Yeah, exactly. Podcast over. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Yeah.
No, but even if you don't know what you're going to do in those 15 minutes, find something. Not scrolling on TikTok. I'm kind of talking to myself here. Find something, whatever. He says you're more likely to fail by not taking enough action, not because you took the action wrong, right? And so what he means is you're more likely to stay where you are and quote unquote fail by not taking a certain action, rather than taking the action. Maybe you did it wrong. At least you're going to get somewhere. You're not staying in the same place, right? If you take enough action and do enough things, you are going to get successful. There is no other way that can go other than you are going to get somewhere, right? So I think that was really powerful.
Yeah, it was. When we train with Grant Cardone and even have coaching calls and stuff with Coach David, we learn so much
Mm.
and it's so empowering. And then when we have our morning team meetings and we're learning and training and stuff on there too, it's just so empowering. And to know that the things that we do on a day-to-day basis can be improved and can improve, and just by taking a little bit more action and tweaking things, that makes such a big difference. And how easy it is to take massive action on things, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely, it blows me away every day. It's like, wow,
Yeah, me too. And I say this all the time, that you'd be so surprised on what you can actually do once you just do it. You'll get so surprised on how much you can achieve in such a short time.
yeah, and how easy it is.
Yeah. And this reminds me of what Seb says. It's the Parkinson's law, that you will fill the amount of time it takes that you give yourself to complete a task. So what this means is, if you give yourself an hour to complete, let's say, follow-up, you're following up some people, you give yourself an hour, it will take you an hour. If you give yourself 20 minutes and you really push yourself to get it done in 20 minutes, it's more likely going to take you 20 minutes, right? So just go all in, even for a day. Anyone watching, anyone listening, just try it for a day. You will be so surprised on how much you get done. And he also, just before we go on to the next topic, he says, it takes the same amount of energy to think big as it does to think small. And at first I didn't really get this, but thinking on it, it's the same amount of energy to stay where you are and stay unhappy in where you are, that it is to go big and think big and do big, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah. It's I can't get over how easy things are when you actually sit down and do it. And then, taking that massive, thinking, because what we do is we talk ourselves out of things, right? We talk ourselves out of it. Okay, it's going to be too hard. It's too much. We just can't do this. And it ends up that's not true. You can do this. You can, there was another thing I wanted to touch on. I don't remember what it was, so hopefully we'll come back. But I totally resonate with everything you just said, because I find myself doing that. When we're doing our cold calls, I do this all the time. We have mandatory times we have to be on the VO every day, right? It's at least an hour every day. So my time is in the evening, my time, which means all of you guys are either just getting up or are still asleep. And because I'm the only one in the US, everybody else is everywhere else in the world, all the really good places.
So far away.
So I'm on there alone a lot of times. And then, so I set myself thinking, okay, I'm going to get all these dials done in this hour. And then I sit there like I'm, telling on myself, I'm a free spirit. I'm going to tell on myself. I sit on my phone because I don't like making the calls. But you know what? If I just push myself that little bit more and actually focus on that, can you imagine the growth and the difference that would make? Like, that's so big. That's so huge.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, because it's
what I find crazy, and what I think and say to myself all the time, is I also do that. I sit down, I'm like, okay, an hour, whatever it is, for an hour, I'm going to make calls. For an hour, I'm going to edit. For an hour, I'm just going to follow up. And then an hour goes by and I've pushed these things off by scrolling my phone, doing, oh, I need to do this in my room, I need to tidy up. And I push it off for an hour, and suddenly it's an hour later and I think to myself, if I had just sat down and done what I was going to do, it would be the same time right now. It'd be the same hour, but I would have had it done. It would still be an hour later, but it would have been done. And I'm like, Josie, you fool.
right.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning before we started doing this that people ask me all the time, are you okay? Do you sleep? You're up at all hours. You seem like you're always doing, you're don't sleep or whatever. Like, no, I rest. I make sure I take time to rest. It's just not very restful rest, I should say, because I'm too I'm stressing out over everything else I have to get done and everything else I have to do, because I'm such a procrastinator. And I keep telling myself, okay, today's the day we're breaking up with procrastination. We are no longer friends. We're no longer seeing each other. Procrastination and I are over. And then you get those times. I don't know about you, Josie, but it's like a roller coaster, right? So we have those times where we're doing really amazing and we're going up, and then we have those times where something hits us and we're like, our production level goes down. So we're going to have those. But the point is that scheduling out your time and your days and then focusing on those in 15-minute increments and taking that action is huge. It's I like how I did write down something that that really hit me with Cardone's training, and it was the unreasonable attitude. You have to be, it says, the ones that succeed in the marketplace, especially in economic contraction, are the ones who make noise, break rules, and the go-getters, the unreasonable. Those who do take the massive action are the ones who are set apart from the rest of the economy, and the other ones who don't. Right? So when I love that, because when everybody's talking about now we're going into a recession, we're having a recession. So what?
Push harder.
That's when you really want to go for, like you said, push harder, focus more, take the massive action. Can you imagine? Okay, because Grant Cardone talks about how much he's done that in the last recession and how much further it put him. I don't remember how much that amount was, but it was huge. It was massive. So if we do that, if we're thinking like, I've got this much time to do this, I'm under pressure, there's no way I'm going to get it done, just do it. Focus on it, take that massive action, be unreasonable with yourself, do what is necessary, still maintaining your health and mental, physical, health is very important. And being with family and everything, that's very, very important. So don't give those up. But when it comes to your business, you need to be unreasonable and do whatever good it takes to get you where you need to be. And I've also heard Grant Cardone say that he's being unreasonable now and taking massive action right now while he's younger, so he can retire and have more free time and more of a freedom lifestyle when he's older and he doesn't have to worry. And he'll get more of that, as opposed to, like, here in the US, people, I don't know if it's still the same age because I really don't care. I don't pay attention. But when you hit 65, you can retire. Okay. You're supposed to be able to retire. Most of the people here cannot retire when they hit 65. They are still out there working when they're in their 70s and 80s because they don't have enough income to retire to live off of. So if you're taking the massive action while you're younger and you're just being unreasonable and putting in all that work and everything, then when you are at it, you can retire earlier and have more retired time and more lifetime left to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's so true, right? Like, why wouldn't you? And I love what you said about production. Sometimes you'll have a bump in the road and your production will go down. It'll slump, and that it doesn't feel too good, right? When you're doing nothing. And that brings us actually quite nicely on to the next segment in this topic, which is production yields happiness. And it's spot on. It is spot on. The more you do, no matter how scary it might feel doing it and like the thought of it, the more you do, that better you're going to feel and the more you're going to want to do. I remember when I was doing nothing, like nothing all day, I didn't want to do anything, but I knew I should. It was this really weird thing. And as soon as I started filling my calendar, like we said, I started doing the things I was scared of. I started having discipline in myself. I was like, Josie, just do it. I felt so much better and I felt so much more motivated and I wanted to do more. I was like, give me more, give me more, give me more.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, he says most people don't get what they want in life because they don't do enough, which
Mhm.
I love. What's your view on this topic? Production yields happiness.
I think it's really true. I mean, I think it is hard for people to wrap their head around, oh, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to be like actually focused on one thing and do it. And at the beginning, you may not like doing that, but the more you do it and the more production and productivity you have out and the more success you have at that, the more it becomes like, oh, I love this feeling. This is really great. I love this. Let me keep doing this. I think that, and then like I was saying, when you have, you're doing so much production and then the happiness and the freedom comes, then you're like, oh, I'm so glad I did it all before. Now
Yeah.
that I'm older, I don't have to worry about anything. I'm secure. I'm done. I can live my life out the way I want to.
Mhm.
So, and I really quick wanted to bring up this topic. I don't know if it's one you had in mind, but it's society is not set up for dreamers, it's set up for robots. That really made an impact on me because it's like the more I talk to people and the more I see people going to their jobs every day and and we talk about settling for mediocrity, right? And I can see people and I'm like, I can really resonate with a lot of people around town. And it's like, if I don't keep pushing myself to take that massive action, that's where I'm going to be at. I'm going to be settling for mediocrity, not being happy. My health and my mental well-being, my physical well-being, everything's going to go downhill. And then excuse expression, my life's going to be shit. But if I'm willing to put in that little bit more activity and production, it's going to be so huge. I can have so much more. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to feel better. That confidence is going to be there. It's going to be so much more freedom and happiness.
Yeah, I think that really boils down to what we say here a lot is remember your why, right? It's when you're struggling to even remember why, remember your why if you're struggling to remember why. But if you're struggling to keep motivated and remember why you're doing this every day, putting yourself through these painful situations, like no one likes to get rejected, right? And putting yourself at risk, cold calls, whatever you're doing, speaking on stage, starting a YouTube channel, anything you're doing, asking someone out on a date, no one likes rejection. But the more you do that, the more comfortable you're going to get with it. And you have to, one, have a strong why. Why are you doing all of this? What is the end goal? Two, remember that why all the time. Write it down every morning, every night, every time you feel unmotivated or you feel slumped or in that kind of mood. Write down your why, which I love. So he also says, a quote is, if I don't quit, I cannot fail, which I love.
Absolutely. I love that because I have his saying, never quit, never give up and never quit, written down in different places in my house. And so when I heard him say that, if I never quit, then I will eventually get what I want. I love that. It's like, ooh, that goes with the same thing. It's kind of, the other one is more, abbreviated way of saying it or shortened way of saying it. But it's like that, I've got to write that down someplace. I've got to write it down everywhere. It's got to be in my face. So Did you have anything else you'd like to bring up before we wrap up?
Yeah, I love this
We're
topic, and
having
I
so
think
much fun, but it's
yeah, I think the most important message to like kind of sum everything up is have a strong goal, do whatever good it takes to get to that goal, be unreasonable. Yeah, target, do whatever good it takes.
target.
Be unreasonable in the actions you're taking towards that goal. Don't let anything stop you. Be like a child, right? When you're a child and you want that piece of candy on the shelf, you're not going to stop when your parents say no
Exactly.
the first, the fifth, the 50th time. You are not going to stop because you still want that piece of candy. And eventually you get it because you were persistent, right? So I think that, and also one last thing Grant says is take 10 times the action you think you need to take to get where you want to be. Take 10 times the amount, and not only are you more likely to get there, but you're probably going to go above. So that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
say.
I like telling that to people all the time. Like when I'm doing a demo or something, I will tell them that. Let's set this higher because that, you're gonna, if you aim for that higher one 9 times out of 10, you're gonna end up higher than what your original goal was. I love saying that. And then two things that Grant Cardone said that kind of I want to bring out. One is disagree with the masses. So if most people are telling you you're doing too much, you need to slow down, you need to stop, you need to, then you're doing the right thing. So you need to disagree with them. You know what? I think that I understand. I'm happy. Thank you so much for telling me that I need to take care of myself and for caring. But I'm really doing great and I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. So I think I'll keep going because
Yeah.
you're on the right path. And then number two is go overboard with your actions, right? What is it we always say? Under promise and over deliver. Why not over deliver to yourself? Why not not under promise yourself, but over deliver what you originally wanted? So like you were just saying, set your goals higher than what you normally would, because you like most likely work for the higher goal for the high, 10 times that. And even if you can't reach that, then you're still over delivering what you originally would have said it.
Exactly. And can I just say also, once you start taking, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's good.
I'm just kidding.
Once you start taking enough action, you're going to have new problems. Disclaimer, I'm telling you now, once you start taking more action, enough action, you're going to be faced with new problems, but that's exciting. It means you're heading in the right direction. So
absolutely,
new problems we love.
I did have one person yesterday ask me, okay, so how do you handle people who give you bad comments on your posts or whatever? And I'm like, well, we celebrate them, honestly. Here at the FLC, we celebrate the negativity because it's growth. It's growth. It's doing several things. It's one, knowing you're doing enough, you're going above and beyond what you were supposed to do. So you're taking that massive action. You're on the right path, right? It's, you have to get how many no's or negative responses before you get to the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we celebrate those. It's like, and you have to remember, listen to what they're saying, don't buy into what they're saying. So don't buy into it. Listen to it. Be grateful. I'm glad you really care about me that much, or that this affected you this way, or you're thinking that or something, but I know I'm doing what's right for me. So
and by the way, sorry, just quickly before we wrap up, everyone in your life, whether you know them personally or they've left you a bad comment online, they're doing that. They're speaking out of their own limiting beliefs. Anyone that's going to tell you you can't do something is because that they believe that they can't do it. They believe it's not achievable. So they're going to tell you it's not achievable. They're only speaking in what they know. And anyone that's leaving you a hate comment online, they're speaking, that's a reflection of them. So don't take it personally. Like Misty said, listen, but don't buy. and just keep going.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was trying to think of that and it didn't come to me in that such
That's
an
you.
eloquent manner. So thank you. Awesome. So thank you guys for tuning into today's episode of the FLC Hangout. We hope you found our discussion informative and engaging. If not, let us know. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to our channel and leaving us a comment with your thoughts and suggestions for future topics. We value your feedback so much, and we would love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends and family who might find it helpful. We want to be sure to get this channel out to as many people as possible so we can help as many people as possible reach their freedom lifestyle. We'll be back next week on Sunday with another episode, so stay tuned and keep learning. And from all of us here at the FLC family, welcome to the family where once your family for life. See you guys next week. Yay.
See you. Thank you.